Hello, class. For my presentation, I'm going to talk about the West Point Cemetery at the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York, where I currently live and work. This cemetery is over 200 years old, with its first interment around 1805 or 1806. It's kind of unknown because some of the earliest markers were not clearly marked, and it was not officially designated as a cemetery until about 1825, with a later Academy graduate saying that we need to create a place for these veterans that are graduating from this facility. And it's a really nice place that still does really elaborate military funerals with full military honors with the howitzers. And it has a connected chapel, as you see here on the right hand side, and they still do funeral services in there. You can see the layout here at the West Point Cemetery is it's very geometric. It's got the circle in the middle. Those are going to be your more recent deaths from the last century or so. And anything out beyond that, it goes into different levels because we are on the side of a mountain here that goes down into the Hudson River. Those ones that are further away from that center circle that you see there in the middle, those are going to be the older graves that came in the 1800s and early 1900s. It's wonderfully laid out if you want to go and see like specific persons, Medal of Honor recipients, or if you wanted to go see the grave of General Westmoreland, or let's say General Schwarzkopf. It's all listed there. As you go into the Cadet Chapel, it's really easy to find what you're looking for. If you're looking for a more detailed, like if you have a loved one or a family member that's buried here, they have a larger list of where you can find those. But it's a really interesting cemetery, and it's got a fantastic view. I know that's a little morbid, but it's a great place to visit if you're just interested in history in general. One of the more famous interments here will be that of General George Custer. You all know him from the Battle of Little Bighorn. I'm still questioning whether his body is actually here or not, but he certainly has one of the larger obelisks in the cemetery commemorating him. There's others here that are a little more elaborate than this, but his is pretty ornate. And he's accompanied by, like I mentioned before, Westmoreland, General Schwarzkopf, and some other really famous military figures in American history. Like I mentioned before, you're going to find a whole array of tombstones here, from the very ornate, such as the pyramid and the obelisk, to some smaller stone crosses, all the way down to just your simple marble markers. You can see all of those in these three pictures, and I think it's a really interesting fact is the pyramid was installed with bells. So whenever if the guy was accidentally interred while he was still alive, this was the early 1900s, he could pull that string and the bell went directly to the superintendent of the school's house, and it would ring a bell in his house. So I think that's actually a really cool detail that I think that archaeologists would find very interesting, and I think that is applicable to this class. And it's still little pieces of history like that strewn all throughout this cemetery. This view is from the far bottom side of the cemetery. You can look straight down into the Hudson River and the Hudson Valley as a whole. And I think one of the more interesting things about the cemetery is not the actual cemetery, but it's the Cadet Chapel itself, which was moved in 1911, built in 1836. And the cadets all came together to preserve this Cadet Chapel. The new one is magnificently large, but inside of it you can find plaques from all the generals who attended West Point or had something to do with its founding, which includes General Washington. And a fun fact is there's a plaque inside that chapel that's got Benedict Arnold's name on it because he was a West Point graduate, but his name has been chiseled off of that plaque as in recognition of him being a traitor to the United States. But like I said before, this is a great cemetery to visit. I highly would suggest you coming up here and checking it out if you're ever in the area. Thank you for joining my video, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Have a good week.